people will ask us, what do we do for, like, if we're gonna go logging in the bush? How do we do it? What's our plan? Like in Manitoba, we have to talk to our forestry guy and we get a permit, and he'll give you an area where you can cut. But this is majority of a jackpine stand. Once you get further in, you'll get some spruce, but you can see coming up the second layer, there's the younger birch trees coming up. Obviously, you're not going to cut those are small. But you see that one back there is a dead standing jackpine, right? So that one's already dead. Those are very beneficial for the forest. There's a lot of insects in there. There's a lot of different good things. There'll be holes from the woodpeckers, so then different birds will live in there. You don't really want to cut those big, the large dead standing ones. You kind of want to leave those. And if they're younger, like this tree right in front here, that's quite a bit of a younger tree. You can see it's still very pointy at the top. Some of these are, once they start to crown out, that one there, you're starting to crown out. You got some more dead ones here. But when they're still, like these ones up here, very vertical, they're pretty small diameter. I wouldn't cut those. Maybe cut this one in front here. If, you know, when the big loggers, they're going to clear cut, right? They're going to come in with feller bunchers and they'll clear cut everything. But if we're going to be more selectively harvesting, you know, you're just, for your personal, this tree right in front here, I'd cut this one. I'll leave the one beside it, you know, give it some time. You give it more sun, more air. See a nice spruce in front here? Grandkids will cut that down maybe in 50, 60 years time. Like that's, you got to give it some time. This tree right in here, that's a nice big tree. We'd cut this one. Then the one beside it will have a lot more room. That's a smaller tree. So then you can really improve your forest. Like in Scandinavia, in Norway, Finland, Sweden, they're on a lot smaller landmass. So they have to be way more careful and they manage their forests way more hardcore. Like in Manitoba, in Canada as a whole, like we don't really take care of our forests that good, and we don't really manage for the future. Like we don't have a good long-term plans. But we want to try to take care of it best we can. If it's on private land, you're going to be able to make a plan with the landowner, and you know, you can kind of more do what you want. When you're on the crown land, especially if you're cutting for yourself, you're cutting 5 cords or something, you could leave some smaller trees and another guy could cut them. But when it gets into the big commercial operations, they're cutting down, you know, hundreds of acres. They're going to leave the trees near a stream. They're going to leave so many standing for wildlife. So then it gets to big, you know, big plans, and it's more to do with the government. But when you're cutting yourself, these small trees, if one's really leaning, or it looks like it's going to break, or maybe it is partially broken from a storm, then go ahead, cut it down. Kind of cleans up the forest. But if they're smaller, like there's some of these small ones, maybe you cut 1 or 2 of them, then leave the other ones to grow. Like I said, you're going to leave these birch. These birch are going to come up nice. In 40, 50 years, those birch are going to just be beautiful, nice big trees. So it takes time, but you talk to local forestry guys, you talk to local loggers, and they'll have something to tell you at least. Every area is different. Like I know when we were down in Wisconsin, they got beautiful maples and beautiful oak trees. So you have to really, there it's way different. Like they're going with smaller forwarders, and they'll cut one tree out because, you know, there's going to be veneer logs that they want to grow for another 20 years. This is a lot different when you're in the boreal forest here, and it's not like being in those hardwood forests when you get into Virginia or Pennsylvania. Like that's completely different down there. But yeah, if you have any questions, drop them below. Happy to answer them.